21st African Union Summit has begun in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Various African leaders, including Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi and Sudan's Omar al-Bashir, have already arrived in Addis. The summit began with a meeting of the NEPAD Heads of State and Government Orientation Committee. NEPAD is an AU program bringing together more than 21 African heads of state to discuss the continent's development agenda. Also attending the 29th NEPAD summit is U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, Chinese Vice Premier Wang Yang, and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Now let's cross to Beatrice Marshall, who's standing by in Addis Ababa to give us the very latest on the AU summit.
Hamida, thank you very much indeed. Welcome to the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where the 50th celebrations of the OAU African Union are currently underway. Well, over 75 heads of state from across the continent, from across the world, and of course the African continent are arriving here at this moment for the 50th anniversary celebrations. Well, this morning there was a debate on Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance, which has been the theme, the rebirth of Africa being the theme of these anniversary celebrations. Well, African leaders are saying that Africa has the ingredients to make it a world leader, but it has to face the challenges of unemployment, urbanization, and of course Africa still remaining an exporter of raw materials. Let's get more on what is happening here at the African Union from CCTV's Girum Chala. Girum?
Thank you, Beatrice. Here at the African Union headquarters, the 29th NEPAD Heads of State Summit is being held at the moment, and more than 21 African Heads of States are participating, talking about Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance, the theme for the Golden Jubilee of the the OAU, Organization of African Unity's 50th anniversary celebrations. As you might have understood by now, the Organization of African Unity's legacies were the one thing that Africans want to cherish and take it to the upcoming 2016 agendas, 2063 agendas, which are the coming 50 years agendas. These agendas, according to the heads of states, are wanted to take Africa to the next level of economic development and liberty financially and economically as well. So the Heads of State Summit will also look at some other agendas of Saharaui, as we're reporting earlier the other time when we came to you to talk about the agendas of the Executive Council, which are also forwarding the discussion points for the Heads of State Summit tomorrow. So the NEPAD Heads of States is discussing on these particular issues of development. As we know, NEPAD is a segment of the African Union that is more or less interested in the development aspect of the continent. Now, some other issues are also going to take place when it comes to celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Organization of African Unity, including conferences and debates on the theme Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance. Also, other culture shows later today. Thank you very much, Beatrice. Back to you for other points.
Indeed, Girum Chala there. Now, the African Union, Organization of African Unity, is holding its 50th anniversary celebrations against the background of strong economic growth in Africa. Now, Africa is being touted as the next economic frontier. Let's hear more on that from Mr. Joseph Chilenge, Political Affairs Chairperson of the Economic Forum here at the African Union. Mr. Chilenge, thank you very much. Now, Africa is rising. That is the common perception. The key question is Africa's renaissance. What does that mean?
Thank you so much. Yes, Africa is indeed rising, and we are rising very fast. And Africa is also reshaping itself, reinvigorating its agenda, being built by those that built the journey for us, showed us the road, and the journey belongs to us. The issue of Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance is the agenda for this 50th commemoration. It's taking us to realize what our common and shared values are as Africans in terms of our economic commonality, our political agenda, social and economic programs, and also looking to the future that is coming, the generation, the type of Africa we need to have in the next 50 years.
Okay, let's look at that future though. African Union is launching a 2063 blueprint for the next 50 years. Looking at the blueprint itself, are those Africa's priorities?
Yes, if you look at the last time we have gone through the journey first, Africa has begun to strengthen its institution. Africa has now the African Court on Human Rights and Justice.
Right.
We didn't have that. Africa has the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. We didn't have that. Africa has a Pan-African Parliament, which is progressively moving towards the legislative powers. Africa has a body on anti-corruption.
Right.
Africa has a Pan-African University. Africa has established itself in terms of being a people-centered organization by also bringing in the Economic, Social and Cultural Council as an organ of the Union. So in terms of our journey, the institutional architecture to help us to drive the agenda in the next 50 years has been laid for the last 10 years when we transformed from the OAU to the African Union.
All right, Mr. Chilengi, we'll leave it there for the moment. Political Affairs Chairperson of ECOSOC here at the African Union. Well, we'll be monitoring all the development here for you as we get into high gear, top gear here for the 50th anniversary celebration.